Welcome all to our Shabbat evening service. We are back in the sanctuary. We've been told that even if London goes into tier 3, we will remain in our synagogue buildings, taking precautions as we have been doing. So this weekend, delighted to be celebrating the bat mitzvah of Lucy Angel and to be in the sanctuary with her family. But we're going to begin because tonight is the second night of Hanukkah, and we have asked our tech wizards, actually they're really magicians, have kept everything going for our streaming from the sanctuary, Michael Lassman and David Lewis, to light the Hanukkah candles now. So if you've waited at home, now is your moment. We're going to light the Hanukkah candles, have a quick matzor, and move to the Shabbat candles seamlessly, where the angel family will come up and light for us. I've stolen the matches. If you'd like to follow in your Siddur Lev Chadash, 399. You say the blessings. Hanukkah, easy mistake to make, but Hanukkah, Neshel Hanukkah. Beautiful, amen. I'm just going to offer us Hanerot Halalu, and then we're going to have a quick first verse of Matzor. I feel that the last time I heard the whole of Matzor sung was in Downing Street. It wasn't that the Prime Minister sang the whole rendition, but the whole of Matzor is sung at their Hanukkah party. Hanerot halalu anachnu madlikin al hanisim va'al hatishuot va'al haniflaot she'asita la'avotenu ve'imotenu v'chol shmonat yamei Chanukah hanerot halelu kodesh ve'en lanu rishut lehishtamesh bahem ele לרותם בלבד כדי להודות לשמך על ניסיך ועל ישועתך ועל נפלותיך. אמן.
Matzor Yeshuati lekana el shapeya tekunte tefilati v'sham toda nizameya le'itash mitlepeya v'tzah
Shemim And now let's light the Shabbat candles. I'm going to ask the angel family to come and light for us. We're on page 75, lighting the Shabbat candles. Get your candles out. I'm seeing some people are still cooking their latkes, as Vika's saying her latkes are still hot. So welcome to all joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, as we light the Shabbat candles tonight. Can you read? Good. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shalom Aleichem, page 76.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharem, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Archuni L'Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedkem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Let's turn straight to Lachadodi, page 91, as we continue to welcome Shabbat.
Lekadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. 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 Shavot v'zachor v'dibur echad, ishmi'anu echad yuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shenu tiferet v'tefila. Lekadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lekadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Likrat Shabbat leku v'nelecha, imeko ha'bracha, erosh mikeret v'sucha, tov ma'aseh b'machshavah tefila. Lekadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lekadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Itoreri, itoreri, Iva orech
and the closing Hatimah of the blessing over the light and darkness changing, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amech Avta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kin Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu, U'menu nasiach b'tunecha, V'nishmak b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam ha'ed.
Em Hayenu, Eor
Ben Yameinu,
Eor
Va'em Begeyom
Balayla,
Begeyom ha'balayla. Be'ahavata al tasur, Imenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai,
Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Elohim Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam ha'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam ha'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam ha'ed. Le'olam ha'ed.
Vahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol mo'odecha. V'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi matzavecha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'leftecha v'derech u'v'shokbecha u'v'kumecha. U'kashatam lo'ot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot beinenecha. U'katavtam al muzot beitecha u'visharecha.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Willingly, we accepted your rule at the shores of the Sea of Reeds, at that big moment of the miraculous and full of joy we sang together. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. Our prayer for peace, safe and easy existence in our homes. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. Now we go to the Tefillah, page 97.
Adonai Sabbatai Tiftachu V'yagitei Lotecha. Adonai Sabbatai Tiftachu V'yagitei Lotecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, בין לנו אלוהים מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת בנורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. בני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. בני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת בנורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם.
Baruch atah Adonai, Makadesh HaShabbat. We're on page 100. Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamcha Yisrael u'tefilatam b'ahavat takabel u'tehilah ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai she'otacha levadecha b'yera na'avod. So as we offer Modim Anachnu Lach together, let's share for the rest of the service things we feel grateful, appreciative for. Modim Anachnu Lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur chayenu magen yeshenu, ata hu lador vador. Nodeh lecha nsaper tehilatecha, al hayenu hamsarim biadecha. V'al nishmotenu hapukudot lach, v'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, v'al niflotecha v'tovotecha shebachol eit erev v'voker v'tzoharayim. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lacha na'eh lohodot. Let's sing our evening prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Nashim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Nashim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Nashim le'olam. Shalom Rav
Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom. Take a moment for silent prayer, reflection. Consider your week. Consider what you feel rededicated to for Hanukkah. We're on the second day of the 8 days. Think of anything you feel grateful for, relieved you're the end of. Just take a moment for yourselves.
Yihil ratzon irevi v'egyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali ulratzon irevi v'egyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali
I'm going to introduce Lucy. As we know, the minhag in our community is for our bat mitzvah, bar mitzvah, b'nai mitzvah to share their Devar Torah on Friday night. So the Friday night crowd get to learn and be taught the illuminating words that our young people have come up with for the Torah. And Lucy will do so tonight, standing on the bima, the first Friday night bat mitzvah that we literally have had since pre-lockdown.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you to everyone joining me today, whether it's in person or over Zoom. I hope you have all enjoyed my bat mitzvah so far. I've been coming to FPS for many years now, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't be able to do what I've done today. My portion is in the book of Genesis. It's called Vayeshev. My Torah portion has a lot of topics in it, but I think the main ones are sibling rivalry and jealousy. Joseph's brothers are extremely jealous of him and will have anything to have him gone from the family. There are 12 brothers and 1 sister. I can relate to my portion as me and my sister fight a lot and are jealous of each other. Not as much as Joseph and his brothers, but we still do it. In fact, I don't know any of my friends who have siblings that don't fight a bit. Many of you may have probably heard of my portion or watched the play Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It begins by Jacob giving Joseph the coat, and all his brothers being jealous and nasty to him. Joseph then starts having many dreams and recites them to his brothers, which make them hate him even more. His brothers were jealous of him and went to shepherd Jacob's flocks at Shechem. Israel told Joseph this and sent him there too. He told him to go and check how your brothers are doing, so he did. A man found him wandering and asked him what he was looking for, and Joseph told him he was looking for his brothers. They saw Joseph and decided they wanted to kill him. They threw him in a pit, covered his coat in blood, and took it to their father, telling him he had been eaten by a vicious animal. He was then bought by merchants and taken to Egypt as a slave. This is a very interesting story and very famous too. When Joseph went to Egypt as a slave and was literally sold in the market and ended up being close friends and colleagues with Pharaoh. I like this because it shows you can get through anything and you should never give up. Even though Joseph's dreams got him in trouble even though Joseph's dreams got him into trouble with his brothers, as they were all about making him the most important person in the family, understanding dreams like he had always done got him out of prison and may have saved his life later on. I'm proud to be reading from a Czech scroll because thousands were found locked in a building in World War II and got saved after. I'm lucky that none of my family were in countries such as Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Poland during the war and didn't have to suffer what millions did. I will always remember the Holocaust and who passed away in it and the whole war. My synagogue is lucky to have 3 Czech scrolls as they have an important story behind them. All of us bar and bat mitzvah students get to feel we are continuing the life of the Czech communities by reading from this Torah scroll. It's very delicate and worn now, which makes it even more precious. For my tzedakah project, I have decided to raise money for Cancer Research UK. It was hard for me to decide between cancer research and an animal charity because of how much I love animals and how much they've been struggling due to the pandemic. John, my teacher, told me that zoos, wildlife parks, petting farms, animal shelters, and sanctuaries have all struggled with the loss of visitors to afford to feed their animals as they usually do. I will never forget the timing of my bat mitzvah in the middle of a pandemic, and it was a different experience that not many people will go through, and I will probably remember it for the rest of my life. In the end, I chose to raise money for Cancer Research UK, as I know a few people that have experienced cancer and I don't want anyone to go through what they did. After lockdown, I will be doing a sponsored walk to raise money. Maybe lockdown has made me aware of how lucky and safe I am, and grateful for a lot more things than I had been aware of before. I'm proud to have a bat mitzvah. My sister had one 3 years ago, and my cousins. My dad had his bar mitzvah 34 years ago. Actually, I just found a photo of him on his bar mitzvah with his cake, and my grandpa had one too. I'm pleased to keep this tradition going in our family. Because I have been coming to FPS for such a long time, it feels like a very familiar place for our family. And some of my classmates and I have been friends since we were 6 years old. It also feels special to us in the terms of the work FPS does in a bigger community. My mum helps out a lot at our winter shelter for homeless people and would have done it again this year if we were allowed to. I am very proud to be having a bat mitzvah at FPS because of all these reasons. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yesher Koach. So looking forward to tomorrow, Lucy, and being able to share with your family, which, as you say, have been with us in the congregation for a long time. And we all remember Isabella's bat mitzvah, and how much she talked about animals in her Devar Torah is my memory of that. So it really is a delight to be with you now, Lucy, one of the first in this year's crop, actually. We go towards Aleinu now, page 520.
Aleinu leshabeach lanon hakol, laten geula leyotzer bereshit, asher sam Elokeinu leyaken et shemo, v'gor aleinu lehamdik malchuto, v'gor aleinu lehamdik malchuto. V'anachnu morim u'mishtachavinu onim lifnei melech
So let's turn to Kaddish together as a congregation. We think particularly this week of the death of Sheila Levy, who was widow of Jack, who many of us remember so well, both of them, mother of Richard Levy and Ruth Tofield. Zichrona Livracha. May her memory be for a blessing. Her funeral will be next Wednesday, and I know you all received an email about how to contact the family. The yard sites that fall at this time, and we think greatly of their families. Ilsa Dorset, mother of Caroline and Veronica. Sylvia Newman, mother of Melvin Newman. Kitty Rom, mother-in-law of Renzo Fantoni. And Josef Seckel, uncle of Patricia Hinson. Zichronam Livrana. May their memories be for a blessing, and may those who recall and remember their loved ones be comforted in their loss as we say the words of the Kaddish with them. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'alma divrach hiroteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon v'yom echon, v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, magala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam amel maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithada v'tale v'talal shmei dekudesha brichu. Leila minko berchata v'shirata. Tushbachan mata v'amiram v'imru amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shamaya. V'hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol bnei adam v'imru amen. Just a couple of reminders and tiny announcements for us before we go into our blessing for the whole congregation, Dean's melody for Yevarechecha, especially for Lucy tonight. But a reminder, we're in the midst of Hanukkah. Tomorrow, of course, is Lucy's bat mitzvah. There's family learning for the bar bat mitzvah class. Of course, without Lucy, she might be a bit busy before the service. And we have our Hanukkah extravaganza, 6:30 to 7:30 Sunday evening. It really is going to be a wonderful showcase of our musicians, of members, of quizzes. So I hope you'll come and join us for that hour. And more announcements about next week tomorrow. But just to say, next Shabbat is Rafi Beach's bar mitzvah. So we look forward to joining the Beach family for that next weekend. So let's sing Yevarechecha, which you can find on the page of Kiddush, which somehow, considering I've used this Siddur for many, many years, I should really know the page number. I think it's 564. It is 564. So, but you can find Yevarechecha on the page before, 563.
Yesimcha Elohim Ephraim v'Gim Menashe Elohim Tzara v'Tara Yevarechecha Adonai
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Get your challah, your wine, your whiskey, whatever you are making kiddush over. I'm going to pass the wine to Dean. So we have Dean's beautiful voice with us for kiddush. And
You have to remind me of the page again.
564.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tevilah lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'achalta, ve'otanu gidata, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh Shabbat.
Amen. And now chalot. For those of you who have challah at home, I left mine, Dora taking it out the oven. Lovely, lovely. I can see Alison and Peggy's. I can't see the next page because I'm holding the chalot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. I can take my mask off
Shalom,
now
everyone.
because the